Have you ever wondered what it would be like to exist beyond our normal world? To experience reality in a way that's completely different from anything we know? Well, you're in for a treat, because today we're diving into the incredible realm of the fifth dimension. This isn't just some made-up fantasy. It's a concept that many spiritual seekers believe is real and accessible. We're about to explore 9 mind-blowing experiences that are said to happen in this higher state of consciousness. These aren't your everyday occurrences. They're the kind of things that could completely change how you see the world and yourself. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, I thought there were only 3 dimensions. Or maybe you've heard of the 4th dimension, which is often described as time. But the 5th dimension, that's a whole new level of reality that most of us have never even imagined. It's a place where the rules of our normal world don't apply, where time and space work in ways that might seem impossible to us. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down in a way that's easy to understand. As we go through these 9 unbelievable experiences, you might find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about reality. You might even start to see hints of these experiences in your own life in those moments when things seem a little different. Maybe you've had a dream that felt more real than reality, or a moment of déjà vu that you couldn't explain. These could be little glimpses into the 5th dimension. So, are you ready to have your mind expanded? Are you prepared to consider possibilities that go beyond our everyday world? Great. Let's start our journey into the extraordinary realm of the 5th dimension and discover the incredible experiences that await us there. Before we jump into the wild experiences you might have in the 5th dimension, let's take a moment to understand what it actually is. Now, don't worry. We're not going to get all scientific or use big, complicated words. Think of the 5th dimension as a level of reality that's beyond what we can see, touch, or measure in our normal world. In our everyday life, we experience 3 dimensions of space: up and down, left and right, forward and backward. We can move in these directions and interact with objects around us. Then there's the 4th dimension, which many people think of as time. It's how we experience events happening one after another. But the 5th dimension, it's like taking a huge step beyond all of that. It's a state where the rules of time and space as we know them don't apply anymore. In this dimension, everything is interconnected in ways we can barely imagine. It's like looking at our world from a completely new angle, seeing all the hidden connections and patterns that we miss in our day-to-day lives. Many spiritual traditions, and even some scientific theories, talk about the 5th dimension. They describe it as a higher level of consciousness, or a more advanced state of being. It's not a physical place you can travel to in a car or a plane. Instead, it's more like a state of mind, or a way of perceiving reality that's totally different from our usual experience. In the 5th dimension, the boundaries between past, present, and future blur. The separation between you and everything else around you starts to disappear. It's a place of unity where you might feel connected to all of existence. Some people describe it as a realm of pure energy, consciousness, or even love. Now you might be wondering, if this dimension is so different from our normal world, how can anyone experience it? Well, that's where things get really interesting. Many people believe that we can access the 5th dimension through deep meditation, spiritual practices, or sometimes even spontaneously in moments of great insight or emotion. Some say that when we dream or have out-of-body experiences, We're actually touching the edges of this higher dimension. It's important to remember that the concept of the fifth dimension isn't something that everyone agrees on. It's not like scientists have measured it or taken photos of it. It's more of a spiritual and philosophical idea, a way of thinking about reality that goes beyond our everyday experience. Some people firmly believe in its existence, while others see it as an interesting concept to explore, even if they're not sure it's real in the way we usually think about reality. As we go through the 9 incredible experiences unique to the fifth dimension, keep in mind that we're exploring ideas that push the boundaries of what we normally think is possible. Whether you believe in the fifth dimension or not, considering these concepts can be a fascinating way to expand your mind and think about the nature of reality in new and exciting ways. So, are you ready to dive into the first mind-bending experience of the fifth dimension? Let's go. Imagine a place where time as we know it simply doesn't exist. That's one of the most incredible aspects of the fifth dimension, the experience of timelessness. In our normal, everyday world, we're used to time flowing in one direction. We wake up in the morning, go through our day, and go to sleep at night. We celebrate birthdays, mark anniversaries, and watch the seasons change. Time seems to move steadily forward, and we can't turn it back or jump ahead. But in the fifth dimension, all of that changes. The experience of timelessness is like stepping outside of the river of time and seeing it all at once. Instead of feeling like you're being carried along by time, unable to stop its flow, you might feel like you're observing all of time, past, present, and future, as if it were laid out before you like a giant map. So what does this actually feel like? People who've had glimpses of this fifth dimensional experience describe it in fascinating ways. Some say it's like being in an eternal now moment. Instead of feeling like the present is constantly slipping away into the past, everything feels immediate and alive. There's no anxiety about the future or regret about the past because, in a sense, all times exist together. Others describe it as a profound sense of peace. Think about how much of our stress and worry comes from our relationship with time. Rushing to meet deadlines, fearing we're running out of time, or wishing we could go back and change the past. In the timeless state of the fifth dimension, all of that melts away. You might feel a deep relaxation and acceptance of everything as it is. The experience of timelessness can also bring incredible clarity. Without the constant pressure of time passing, you might find that you can see situations and problems from new angles. Solutions that were hidden before suddenly become obvious. It's like being able to step back and see the big picture of your life, free from the usual constraints of past and future. Some people report that in this timeless state, they can access memories with incredible vividness, not just from this life, but from what they believe to be past lives or even future experiences. It's as if all of these moments are happening simultaneously, and you can dip into any of them at will. This might sound amazing, but it can also be pretty overwhelming at first. Our brains are so used to organizing everything into before and after that the idea of everything happening at once can be hard to grasp. It's like trying to watch every movie ever made, all at the same time. The experience of timelessness in the fifth dimension doesn't mean that time stops existing altogether. It's more like gaining a new perspective on time. You might come to see time not as a straight line, but as a vast interconnected web of moments, all existing together in a great cosmic dance. This new view of time can have profound effects on how you live your life. Imagine how differently you might act if you truly felt that every moment was eternal and sacred. You might find yourself fully present in each moment, not constantly thinking about what's next or what came before. You might worry less about the future, knowing that in some sense it's already here. And you might let go of regrets about the past, understanding that it's not really gone, but still part of the great tapestry of existence. The experience of timelessness in the fifth dimension reminds us that our normal perception of time is just one way of experiencing reality. It opens up the possibility that there are other ways of being, other ways of perceiving the world around us and our place in it. It challenges us to think beyond our usual limits and consider that reality might be far more vast and amazing than we usually imagine. As we move on to the next incredible experience of the fifth dimension, keep this sense of timelessness in mind. Each of these experiences builds on the others, creating a picture of a reality that's far more complex, beautiful, and interconnected than we usually realize. Are you ready to explore deeper? Let's continue our journey into the mind-bending world of the fifth dimension. In our everyday lives, we often feel separate from the world around us. We see ourselves as individuals, distinct from other people, animals, plants, and objects. But in the fifth dimension, this sense of separation melts away, replaced by an overwhelming feeling of unity with everything that exists. This experience of oneness is one of the most profound and transformative aspects of fifth dimensional consciousness. Imagine for a moment that the boundaries of your body begin to fade. You start to feel a deep connection, not just to other people, but to the trees outside your window, the birds flying by, and even the air you're breathing. As this feeling grows stronger, you realize that you're not just connected to these things in some incredible way. You are these things. The line between you and everything else becomes blurry and then disappears altogether. This isn't just a vague feeling of being part of something bigger. In the fifth dimension, it's described as a direct experience of being one with the entire universe. You might feel like a drop of water that suddenly realizes it's part of a vast ocean. Your individual identity doesn't disappear completely, but it expands to include everything. People who've had glimpses of this unity often describe it as an overwhelming feeling of love and compassion. When you feel that you're connected to everything, it becomes impossible to hate or fear anything, because that would be like hating or fearing a part of yourself. This experience can lead to a profound shift in how you treat others and the world around you. The unity experience in the fifth dimension goes beyond just feeling connected to living things. You might sense the energy flowing through rocks, feel the movements of planets, or perceive the dance of atoms. It's like suddenly being able to see and feel the invisible threads that tie all of existence together. This sense of unity can also extend to time itself. Remember how we talked about timelessness in the first experience? Well, in this state of unity, you might feel connected not just to everything in the present, but to all of history and all of the future as well. It's a state where you're one with all that ever was, is, or will be. Experiencing this level of unity can be incredibly blissful, but it can also be overwhelming. Our brains are used to processing information from the perspective of a single, separate individual. Suddenly experiencing the entire universe from the inside out can be a lot to handle. Many people who've had this experience say that it fundamentally changed how they see the world and their place in it. After feeling this deep connection with everything, it becomes hard to act in selfish or destructive ways. You might find yourself naturally wanting to take care of the environment, help others, and make choices that benefit the whole rather than just yourself. This unity experience challenges many of our basic assumptions about reality. It suggests that our normal sense of being separate individuals might be an illusion, a limited perspective rather than the whole truth. It opens up the possibility that at the deepest level, we are all one, not just with each other, but with everything that exists. As we move on to the next incredible aspect of the fifth dimension, keep this sense of unity in mind. Each of these experiences builds on the others, creating a picture of a reality that's far more interconnected and amazing than we usually imagine. In our everyday 3D world, making things happen takes time and effort. If you want to build a house, start a business, or learn a new skill, you need to put in hours, days, or even years of work. But in the fifth dimension, things work very differently. One of the most incredible experiences reported in this higher state of consciousness is instant manifestation, the ability to create reality directly with your thoughts. Imagine thinking of something and having it appear or happen immediately. No waiting, no physical effort, just pure creation through the power of your mind. That's what instant manifestation in the fifth dimension is all about. It's like having a superpower that allows you to shape reality according to your will. In this state, the line between thought and reality becomes blurred. Your ideas, wishes, and intentions don't just stay in your head. They instantly become part of the world around you. It's as if the universe becomes a direct extension of your consciousness, responding immediately to your thoughts and feelings. This might sound like a dream come true. After all, who wouldn't want to be able to create anything they desire instantly? But it's important to understand that this isn't about materialistic wishes or selfish desires. In the fifth dimension, where you experience unity with everything, your thoughts and intentions naturally align with the highest good for all. People who've experienced glimpses of this state often describe it as both exhilarating and deeply responsible. On one hand, you have incredible creative power at your fingertips. On the other hand, you're acutely aware that every thought has an immediate impact on the entire universe. There's no room for careless thinking or negative intentions. In the fifth dimension, manifestation isn't just about creating physical objects. You might manifest experiences, knowledge, or states of being. For example, if you want to understand a complex concept, you might instantly experience complete comprehension. If you wish to feel love, you might be immediately filled with an overwhelming sense of universal love. This instant manifestation challenges our usual ideas about cause and effect. In our normal world, we're used to actions having consequences that unfold over time. But in the fifth dimension, cause and effect happen simultaneously. Your intention is the cause, and its manifestation is the effect, all occurring in the same instant. Experiencing this level of creative power can be incredibly transformative. It highlights the importance of our thoughts and intentions in shaping our reality. While we might not be able to manifest things instantly in our everyday 3D world, this fifth dimensional experience suggests that our thoughts and beliefs play a much bigger role in creating our reality than we usually realize. Many people who've had glimpses of this instant manifestation come back with a new appreciation for the power of positive thinking and clear intention. They often report feeling a greater sense of responsibility for their thoughts and a deeper understanding of how their inner state affects their outer reality. It's important to note that instant manifestation in the fifth dimension isn't about gaining personal power or accumulating things. In this state of higher consciousness, your desires naturally align with the greater good. You're not separate from the universe, trying to get what you want from it. Instead, you're a conscious part of the universe, co-creating reality in harmony with all that exists. This experience of instant manifestation opens up fascinating questions about the nature of reality. Is our physical world just a slower, denser version of this instant creation? Are we all constantly manifesting our reality without realizing it? These are the kinds of mind-bending ideas that exploration of the fifth dimension invites us to consider. As we continue our journey through the incredible experiences of the fifth dimension, keep in mind how each of these aspects interrelates with the others. The timelessness, unity, and instant manifestation we've explored so far all work together to create a picture of a reality that's far more fluid, interconnected, and responsive to consciousness than we usually imagine. Fourth experience, multidimensional vision. In our everyday world, we're used to seeing things from a single perspective. We look at objects and see their outsides, their shapes and colors. But in the fifth dimension, vision takes on a whole new meaning. Multidimensional vision is the ability to see beyond the surface, to perceive all aspects of something simultaneously. Imagine being able to look at an apple and see not just its red skin, but also its inside, its cells, the energy flowing through it, and even its past and future, all at the same time. That's what multidimensional vision in the fifth dimension is like. It's a complete, holistic way of perceiving that goes far beyond our normal sight. With this kind of vision, you might look at a person and see their physical body, their emotions, their thoughts, their past experiences, and their potential futures all at once. You're not just seeing what's on the surface, but experiencing a complete understanding of their entire being. This multidimensional vision isn't limited to what we normally think of as visual perception. It's more like a total awareness that includes sight, but also encompasses feelings, intuitions, and direct knowing. You might see sounds, hear colors, or feel thoughts. All your senses blend together into one unified way of perceiving the world. People who've experienced glimpses of this state often describe it as both beautiful and overwhelming. Imagine seeing the intricate patterns of energy that make up everything around you, or being able to perceive the interconnections between all things. It's like suddenly having access to all the hidden information in the universe. This kind of perception challenges our usual ideas about what's possible to know or understand. In our normal 3D world, we're used to gathering information bit by bit, piecing things together over time. But with multidimensional vision, understanding comes instantly and completely. Experiencing this level of perception can be deeply transformative. It often leads to a profound sense of empathy and compassion, as you're able to truly see and understand others in a complete way. It can also bring a deep appreciation for the complexity and beauty of existence as you perceive the amazing intricacy of everything around you. In the fifth dimension, love takes on a whole new meaning. It's not just an emotion or a feeling towards specific people or things. Instead, it becomes a fundamental state of being, a constant experience of connection and unity with all that exists. Imagine being immersed in an ocean of love so vast and deep that it permeates every aspect of your existence. This is what experiencing pure love in the fifth dimension is like. It's not directed at any one person or thing, but encompasses everything. In this state, love isn't something you feel, it's something you are. You become love itself, radiating it outwards and receiving it from everything around you. It's a love that's unconditional, unlimited, and all-encompassing. This experience of pure love goes hand in hand with the sense of unity we talked about earlier. When you feel completely one with everything, love becomes the natural state. There's no separation, no judgment, no fear, just an overwhelming sense of acceptance and connection. People who've had glimpses of this fifth dimensional love often describe it as the most profound and transformative experience of their lives. It's a love that heals, that dissolves barriers, that brings a deep sense of peace and wholeness. In this state, you might feel love for everything, not just people, but animals, plants, even inanimate objects. You might feel love for concepts like time or space. You might even feel love for things we normally consider negative, seeing them as necessary parts of the whole. Experiencing this level of love can dramatically change how you interact with the world. After feeling this all-encompassing love, many people find it easier to be compassionate, to forgive, and to see the good in others. It can lead to a natural desire to help and uplift others, seeing their well-being as inseparable from your own. This pure love of the fifth dimension challenges our usual ideas about what love is. It suggests that the love we experience in our everyday lives is just a small taste of a much larger, more fundamental force that underlies all of existence. In our normal 3D world, we experience time as a linear progression from past to present to future. But in the fifth dimension, this linear view of time dissolves. Instead, past, present, and future exist simultaneously, all accessible in what we might call an eternal now. Imagine being able to see your entire life, past, present, and all possible futures, laid out before you like a vast landscape. You can focus on any part of it, jumping from childhood memories to future possibilities with ease. This is what experiencing the unity of time in the fifth dimension is like. In this state, you're not bound by the usual constraints of time. You might be able to visit past events, not just as memories, but as if they're happening right now. You could explore potential futures, seeing how different choices might play out, and all the while, you're fully present in the current moment. This experience goes beyond just your personal timeline. You might perceive historical events or future possibilities for the entire world or even the universe. It's like having access to a cosmic library of all that was, is, or could be. People who've had glimpses of this state often describe it as both awe-inspiring and deeply insightful. Seeing all of time at once can bring a profound understanding of cause and effect, of how everything is interconnected across time. Experiencing this unity of time can dramatically change your perspective on life. It might help you let go of regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, seeing them all as part of a greater whole. It can bring a deep sense of peace and acceptance, knowing that in some sense, everything is always happening now. This view of time in the fifth dimension challenges our usual ideas about fate, free will, and the nature of reality itself. It suggests that time, like space, might be just another dimension that we can potentially move through or perceive differently with expanded consciousness. In the fifth dimension, communication takes on a whole new form. Instead of relying on words or even thoughts, you might experience a direct transfer of understanding, what some people call telepathy, but on a much deeper level. Imagine being able to share your entire experience, your thoughts, feelings, memories, and understanding, instantly and completely with another being. No misunderstandings, no struggle to find the right words, just pure, direct communication. This is what it's like to communicate in the fifth dimension. In this state, language becomes unnecessary. You don't send messages back and forth. Instead, you share consciousness. It's like temporarily becoming one with the other being, experiencing their perspective as if it were your own. This form of communication isn't limited to other humans. You might find yourself able to communicate with animals, plants, or even what we normally think of as inanimate objects. Everything becomes alive and conscious in its own way, and everything is open to this direct exchange of awareness. People who've experienced glimpses of this state often describe it as incredibly freeing and connecting. There's no possibility of lying or hiding. Everything is open and transparent. This can bring a deep sense of trust and intimacy. Experiencing this level of communication can profoundly change how you interact with others and the world around you. It might make you more aware of the limitations of normal language and more sensitive to the unspoken aspects of communication in everyday life. This fifth dimensional communication challenges our usual ideas about the boundaries between self and other, and about the nature of consciousness itself. It suggests that at a deeper level, we're all connected in ways that go far beyond our normal understanding. In the fifth dimension, the world doesn't appear as solid objects, but as flowing patterns of energy. This experience of seeing energy is like having X-ray vision that goes beyond just physical structures to perceive the life force that animates everything. Imagine looking at your hand and seeing not just skin and bones, but swirling patterns of light and color representing the energy flowing through your body. Now extend that to everything around you: people, animals, plants, even rocks and the air itself. Everything becomes alive with visible energy. In this state, you might perceive auras around living beings, see the energy centers in the body known as chakras, or witness the exchange of energy between different objects and beings. You might even see how thoughts and emotions manifest as energy patterns. This way of perceiving isn't limited to visual experiences. You might feel the energy, hear it as music, or simply know and understand it directly. It's a complete sensory experience that goes beyond our usual five senses. People who've had glimpses of this energy site often describe it as beautiful and awe-inspiring. The world becomes a symphony of light and color, with everything interconnected by flows of energy. Experiencing this can dramatically change how you perceive the world and your place in it. It might make you more aware of the impact of your thoughts and actions on the energy around you, and more sensitive to the energetic state of others and your environment. This ability to see energy in the fifth dimension challenges our usual ideas about the nature of matter and consciousness. It suggests that at a fundamental level, everything is energy, and that what we perceive as solid reality might be just one way of interpreting these energy patterns. In the fifth dimension, understanding takes on a whole new meaning. Instead of learning things piece by piece, you might experience a state of complete, instant comprehension of everything. Imagine suddenly knowing the answer to every question you've ever had, understanding every mystery of the universe, and grasping the true nature of reality all at once. This is what the experience of complete understanding in the fifth dimension is like. In this state, knowledge isn't something you acquire or possess, it's something you are. You become one with all information, all wisdom, all understanding. There's no separation between you and what you know. This understanding goes beyond just facts or information. It's a deep, intuitive grasp of the fundamental nature of existence. You might understand the purpose of life, the workings of the universe, the nature of consciousness itself. People who've had glimpses of this state often describe it as both blissful and overwhelming. It's like suddenly having access to a cosmic internet that contains all knowledge and wisdom. Experiencing this level of understanding can profoundly change your perspective on life. It might bring a deep sense of peace and acceptance as you understand the reasons behind everything that happens. It could also inspire a great sense of humility as you realize how vast and complex the universe truly is. This complete understanding challenges our usual ideas about knowledge and learning. It suggests that at some level, all information might be accessible to consciousness, and that our normal state of limited knowledge might be just a focused, narrow slice of a much larger awareness. As we've journeyed through these 9 unbelievable experiences of the fifth dimension, we've explored realms of consciousness far beyond our everyday awareness. From the dissolution of time to the unity with all existence, from instant manifestation to complete understanding, these experiences paint a picture of a reality that's far more vast, interconnected, and malleable than we usually imagine. While these experiences might seem far out or impossible from our normal 3D perspective, many spiritual traditions and even some cutting-edge scientific theories suggest that higher dimensions of reality might indeed exist. Whether you see these as literal descriptions of another level of existence or as metaphors for expanded states of consciousness, contemplating these ideas can be a powerful way to expand your mind and challenge your assumptions about the nature of reality. Remember, the goal isn't necessarily to achieve these states of consciousness in your everyday life, but to open your mind to new possibilities. By considering these fifth-dimensional experiences, we can gain new perspectives on our lives, our relationships with others, and our place in the universe. As you go about your day, try to carry a bit of this fifth-dimensional awareness with you. Notice the interconnections between things, pay attention to the energy around you, practice unconditional love, and stay open to moments of expanded awareness. You might find that even in our 3D world, glimpses of these higher dimensions are available to us all the time. We just need to learn how to perceive them. Thank you for joining me on this mind-bending journey into the fifth dimension. May these ideas inspire you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep expanding your understanding of the incredible universe we live in